enmeshment of mothers. I need you to look up that emotional enmeshment from a jealous ass bitch that's your biological mother, and how whole families wrap themselves up in destroying you, destroying the daughter out of fear, jealousy, insecurity, keeping the daughter trapped and bound by emotionally, mentally, psychologically, spiritually, physically binding you, traumatizing them, and then starting to say they're crazy. That's what my mother and grandmother would do. And start to tell everybody in the family I was crazy. Tell teachers, her friends, her church members, whenever we would try to expose her and my grandmother and repeat the things they did and they let disgusting grown men do. They would say I was crazy and I had a mental problem. And you're going to be the one that, even though the other girls will get it, the other daughters will get it, the abuse, and be talked about and backstabbed. So you can be trapped and stuck, not be successful. My mother would even come to my jobs. And when I was trying to go to school, help me get in, and then come and sabotage my ability to get an education, to be respected and taken seriously, and get ahead in school, and abuse me and my half sister at home. The abuse was daily, and you never know when it was going to happen. And be accused of something you didn't do, and then say God told it to her. It has to be true. Are you questioning God, which was saying she was God, or she had a direct access to God? So that's also tied to religious and psychic and demonic and spiritual abuse. If you're in one of those religious families and those Bible Belt families, you don't call the prophet of God a liar. You don't say that those women were not picking up the right thing in spirit. And many times those older women and even women that are your mothers are so sick and twisted in the head in them churches, they will end up tying their secret jealousies, their insecurities, inferiority complexes to religion and to their spiritual gifts, and say that, oh, the spirit told me she a hoe and she promiscuous and her butt is big and she's going through normal puberty that she cannot control because she laying with grown men and sucking dicks. And you 10, 11 years old, you get your period at 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. It's because you fucking and sucking dicks. No, it's happening to you probably because of food as well, with junk food, a lot of chemicals, animal hormones to get an early period. But the main reason is puberty, natural puberty in the body, dealing with the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and it's signaling the body to go through puberty, and it releases hormones. So that's why, stupid bitch, ignorant, insecure, perverted ass bitch, because you don't like girls. You don't like your daughter. You don't like young girls. It bothers you because they're going through puberty. You don't like yourself because of your age. And you know that's what your fucking husband like, or the deacon like, young babies. Really ignorant, stupid ass bitches. And it's the emotional enmeshment and the jealousy of the female that is causing this. And these women make pacts to do that shit. As well as it's generational, and it's jealousy to try to keep them trapped. And then that's why a lot of these young women are in and out of juvenile and in and out of the psych wards. If they can, they will torture, humiliate, and abuse a daughter, and then take her to the psych ward and say she has a psychological problem, when a lot of those nurses and doctors now know that is emotional enmeshment and jealousy and abuse from a jealous mother, a jealous narcissistic mother, and the rest of the family joining in on it to destroy the young girl And if she happens to be psychic, she happens to be an intuitive, she happens to be an empath, a medical intuitive, and she's demonically possessed because these people are cursing her with their tongue and their mouth. And they physically assaulting them and then they get sexually assaulted. So that the girl never leaves home and becomes bigger and more successful than the mother and usually more talented. She won't be able to develop it, and they'll destroy her psychologically and with psych meds and rumors and lies. I mean, it's a disgusting cycle. And y'all need to start studying this. The emotional enmeshment of a mother, of a father, a jealous mother who's also psychotic, twisted and shit and sick. And a lot of times their mothers do it to them, because I saw my grandmother do it to my mother. She talked about beat up, backstabbed her own daughters and let men rape them, sexually assault them. My mother and her sister, her half sister, said that they would be crying for my grandmother because they'd hear my grandmother. My grandmother was a drunk, a abusive drunk to her daughters. She would fight other people and fight men too, but she did it to her daughters. They would hear her drunk, moaning and groaning in the room with a man, and they were young, so they thought that my grandmother was being assaulted and raped when she's really taking a lot of dick in the ass. She's having... I'm glad you like your symbolism. Y'all let me know you liked it. And of course, you know that even though I don't have any book degrees on this, babe, I got life degrees on this shit because I lived it. And instead of being walking around crazy on psych meds, miserable and whining, I look at all these things that happen to me and I work on myself every day to talk to you about the experience and how fucked up it was, but then also talk to you about what I learned and what I've overcome. I don't want to be pitied. I don't want to spend my life being a victim, and I don't want people feeling sorry for me. Even if what I went through, I was victimized, I was brutalized, I was broken, starting in my very childhood, and then unfortunately had a lot of people who wanted to come into my life that wanted to abuse me and control me and put their foot on me. Even though all those disgusting, really sad, fucked up things happened, I still don't want to spend my life being a victim and being pitied and feel sorry for. So I've worked through all these years, worked through all of that pain, and the way I learned to see it, totally different than what I was told. You deserve it. My mother would do these things. Everybody would do these things. And that's what I don't like about them, because they say all these things to you, and you are the daughters, and victimize and humiliate y'all, and y'all sit there and are so loving and so kind. You cover up their secrets like I used to cover them up, and you hope they change, and you let yourself be a victim, and you let yourself be weak for them and use them, that let them keep using you, abusing you, hoping they become a good mother and they love you because you just want love from them. You don't even want revenge, you just want love from them. And they'll continue to do it and won't change. And they're so bold and so disgusting and aggressive with that shit. But then they won't tell other people other than someone they could trust that will keep the secret and help them do it. But then when you confront them, or you tell other people, like people in authority, positions of power, other adults, they sit there and fucking lie and say that you're lying, they didn't do that shit. Or they give a justification of the abuse by making up a lie saying you did this or you did that. At 2 months old, at goddamn it, a toddler at 3 years old. Start telling people they don't like you. Like my mother started saying she didn't like her children. Before you can even offend them, before you can do anything wrong to them, you don't even really understand this world you're in. You don't know you're in it. You're 5 years old, you're 7 years old, and you know, but you did something to them. That way, they try to bond with other adults that they end up finding out, and some of them are in authority, that are child molesters, physically abused, gaslight, psychologically abused, got the children secretly on drugs. They will create alliances with other adults to justify that shit, and it stays private. But see, I have been publicly saying this shit about my birth mother and family for years. I know they know it. I know they heard me say it. They told me they heard me. And other people in the family told them that I said it. But yet, I haven't been sued. And I have not had them come out in public and contradict what I'm saying and call me a fucking liar. And also the thing about me, I have proof of this shit because my mother was arrested before and we were taken from her and I was in foster care. I found, because I was a teenager when it happened, so I didn't really know about law, so she kept us dumb. But a few years ago, I found the legal documents and the DA's office sent me a copy of them. So see, y'all that really know me, y'all know how I am. If I decide to confront a motherfucker publicly, you know that I'm not going to put no Donald Duck or Raggedy Ann and Andy emoji up there. I'm not finna get no filter. I'm not finna change my motherfucking voice. Y'all know my voice. I have a very distinct voice. Just like when the movie Precious came out and people heard the voice, they said, that's Alexis K. Tyler. Her voice is so unique. When you heard the Solange Knowles 2019 album, you heard my voice. I did not tell you it was going to be on there, but they said, that's Alexis because I know her voice anywhere. And you find out, you Google it, you find out it was true. See, if I'm going to come out, you're going to know it's me. You're going to see my face because you know I'm going to show it when I said it shit. You're going to hear my voice and you're going to get receipts. If I don't have them and if I'm scared of somebody, I'm not going to say it in public. And that's what I don't like about these dirty ass mothers who tell you they better than you, they smarter than you, they stronger than you, they always will be, and that's a lie if you to choose to apply yourself. They'll do these things to you and the family will cover it and protect it, but then they scatter like cockroaches when you get the strength to come out in public and challenge them. And some of y'all don't like that about y'all because you cowardly and you fucking weak. Like I used to be, because I didn't realize how much power I had and how strong I was. When somebody is that aggressive and violent with you, and your mother is violent with you in private, usually when you tell on them, and even if you're shaking, you say that shit when you know you're in a safe place, or even if you're not, if you don't know, and they have to remove you because you're a minor. Once you get legally grown and you realize this bitch can't hit me no more and I have to stand here and take it, I can hit this bitch back. I can kill this bitch. Especially if she assaults me trying to kill me like she's always done, but you clearly didn't want to do it because I would be dead. Usually when you stand up and confront them, they become cowardly in public because narcissists don't want you to know how sick and jealous and weak they are of their own fucking daughter or their own fucking son. They usually don't. And I thought my mother acted like she's so strong and powerful. I just knew she would stand out in public and say, yes, I did that to my children and I want to repent. I want to ask God to forgive me and I was wrong and I'm going to do what I can to help them. And I ask people to please forgive me and this is what I did and I was wrong and I admit it and I want to change and I'm so sorry. Usually they don't do that. And I thought that that's what she would do because she would brag about all this spiritual power, these demons power. She had money. She had the respect of people. Oh, yeah. OK, that's why. That's why. Because you would lose the respect of the people. You would lose the money. You would lose the admiration if they knew what a sick, fat ass bitch and what a lying, cowardly ass, psychotic, narcissistic, mentally ill, psychiatric patient bitch you is. See, and that's what, and I don't care who gets mad at me. Any woman that has been abused her whole life, and now you know what abuse is, You know it was violations to you. You knew it when she did it. Everybody else knew it, but you were afraid or you blamed yourself because they said it was your fault. Like I used to blame myself and feel like I wasn't a good enough daughter. I wasn't a good enough human being. She said she should have killed me. She said that she hated my father. She said she glad my father was dead. She said I was wasted sperm cells, and I sat for years, let her abuse me and talk to me like shit, even when she was on the show with me, and let other people do it because I felt like I wasn't worthy to be in the world. I didn't deserve to live because my mother that gave birth to me couldn't see my value and couldn't see that I didn't deserve to be beat on, humiliated, and denied just the humanity of a human being. The dignity of a human being. Said you're not a good enough human being. So that's why they beat you. That's why they talk about you. That's why they turn their back on you. No, you're a jealous bitch. You're a jealous, disgusting bitch who's self-hating. And y'all know that, and you still, well, if I give her more money, well, if I'm more humble, well, if I let her abuse me more, well, if I'm very kind, and if I go out of my way and let her use me and abuse me, even though the other brothers and sisters don't have to do none of that, they don't give her shit and they disrespect her, but I'm the most respectful and I get the most abuse. And the black sheep, you're weak. Because you 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, and you put your whole life on hold and you sacrificed it for your mother. This bitch don't, if this was a bitch on the street, you would have been killed. This bitch whooped her ass, filed reports of assault against her, and you would not have been dealing with her. But since that's your birth mother, you let her do that, and you hoping for one day that you gonna goddamn it overcome and she gonna love you, and you keep putting yourself in the position to be humiliated and abused. That's a weak move. That is not a move of self-love and self-preservation first. That's not a position of self-respect to get away from anything or anybody that tries to destroy you, femicide, kill a female, humiliate and degrade a female that she gave birth to because you want her to love you. You will never love, trust, and respect yourself. You will never get true unconditional love from anybody. Because you keep loving a bitch that don't love you, and then teaching you how to hate yourself and disrespect and not love yourself because they kick you, spit on you, bitch, pull her drawers down, open her ass, shit on you like she just took some X-Lax and got diarrhea. So you can get splattered all over with shit and then tell you ain't shit and tell niggas that you ain't shit. So they run your lovers away, they run your husbands away, they run your friends away, and you let them. You're weak. You are a wounded, weak, heartbroken, emotional little girl inside of a physically big body and a chronological adult. That's just a big, scared little girl in this scary little world dressed up as a legal adult and a physically big adult body. And instead of you standing back and even going to get counseling. If you feel like you need a break and get the psycho or get some meds, take your ass on. Because that shit is so traumatizing, it will make you want to kill yourself. And then they keep all the women in the family co-sign this shit, and the niggas that's fucking them co-sign this shit because they keep fucking them and they help them abuse you, and they stay and they watch the abuse or participate in it and benefit from sexually assaulting their daughter, humiliating and degrading them. And it's like my grandmama said, a henpecked motherfucker that'll sit there and let a woman humiliate, degrade him, take his money, and then watch him do it to either children that are biologically his or children that are not his. Watch it to get approval from her because it's benefiting him because he's digging in her motherfucking ass. See, and that also sets you up to be with men that are abusive, narcissistic, want to tear you down, control you, and where you are not the divine feminine in a relationship, you're the divine prostitute, a sacred whore. He sees you as a whore. You're Cinderella. And you're a whore and never a goddamn wife because you said so. Your mother and the men she was with basically groomed you to be the second class or third party bitch. And you know you don't deserve it and you want more, but you're afraid to speak up because you feel like you won't even get the privilege of being a third party. Instead of having a high value be relationship and be the privileged lady. Be Mrs. Pam. You for Pamela. You Mrs. Pamela. You Pam. You not Mrs. Pamela because Mrs. Pamela is the hoe and the wife with the wedding band. That's Pamela. You being Pam, you the third party, you the chick on the side. You know, you that knack, you that goddamn it slide. You that hoe in the back seat in the fucking basement. And that he creep on late at night or early in the morning or when he got something else to do, a business meeting, or he gonna make sure he got that business meeting or he hanging out with his boys so he can frame some extra time to go and come and smack you in the ass and then come home and the bitch he married to, Mrs. Pamela, ain't gonna suspect nothing because he done did it around the time he got activities and he can ease that time in and you a slide. And you let that shit happen, then you want to say men ain't shit. No, the ones you're attracting ain't shit because it's not that you ain't shit and that you're attracting what you are. You think you ain't shit. And a part of you don't like that shit. You got a love-hate relationship with yourself, but a part of you justified. So because you justify, because your mama told you that's all you're going to be and that's all you worthy of, and you shouldn't even fucking be here, bitch. You shouldn't even be alive. You are matched to the frequency of being that knack, that slide, that hole on the side, that calm guzzler that he hit that throat. You get the throat babies and you get the dick in the ass and you are good at what you do. So you're an ultimate freak. You're a freak in the sheet, but you're not the privileged lady. You're not nobody that he tell that he fucking know. He gonna lie he know you. He gonna lie he fuck you. And he might even be paying your rent and shit on the side because you Pam. You that slide, pussy ass mouth. You Pam. That's what you is, but goddamn it, I mean, him coming out of what the fuck he with or divorcing what he with or he know he don't have to because you ain't with that shit he with. Because he already got respect for himself and a lot of men are taught to have them a shit on the side and you bad too, but you don't even know you bad. You don't even know you beautiful. You don't even know you powerful. And you so insecure, you scared to ask him to give you more to make you number one. Because you, his wife at home, and then some. And you're so beautiful and you're so sweet because your mama done taught you to sacrifice yourself. So you'll go above and beyond to keep a man, to please him and take care of him. But a part of you, your self-esteem is so low and you feel like nothing and nobody. And you still let your mama talk to you like you ain't shit. And tell you ain't gonna have shit because she don't want you to have a better man than her, a better home, or better house. She's jealous of you. So you weak with niggas too because she done told you while she was with this nigga, your daddy or your stepdaddy or her husband that abused you. And after she abused you, he always does what? He chooses your mother, he co-signs your mother and because she keep him coming in her mouth, paying her rent. She the privileged lady. You ain't shit. You the hoe in the backyard. You the thought, that hoe over there. So your mother's already programmed you to be a nothing and a fucking nobody. You only something to this nigga or he getting you some money or helping you with this bill or pair of shoes or a Fendi bag. And you could be a high class dumb bitch. A high class dumb Pam and that hoe over there that only get my attention and my respect when you sucking my dick because you know how to suck it better than my wife or the psychic energy that you have. The spiritual energy, you a soul hoe. You a soul pole spirit hoe. You're a spiritual sexual hoe. You got it in you to be the privileged lady, to be the lady of high respect, to have a high level relationship. You got all of it, but you cannot see it. So they reduce you down to a first chakra. Let me slam down in your ass. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Kind of a goddamn whore. Well, the other one can be less than you, not as cute as you, not as fine as you, or none of that. But he will treat a ugly bitch like a queen. And treat a queen like an ugly bitch. Because that keeps you where the fuck you are. A diamond. gold, and you don't know. Because he know you've been wounded. He know something wrong with you in the head. You throw it off. Because where your mama and all these other bitches and niggas around them did you and told you you weren't shit. And instead of trying to heal you and raise you up and make you wifey, make you Mrs. Pamela, this nigga gonna find you, feed you, fuck you, leave you where the fuck he found you, fucked up in the head. And then you try to raise up, he's going to try to kill you and destroy you as you waking up. So you can't go and be out there and see a man that see all of that about you and say, oh, I like that right there, goddamn it. Now I know that you're a hell of a motherfucker. You're a bad bitch. You just don't know you bad. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, psychologically, sexually, socially. You got all that potential, and he knows you're not trash. I just need to groom her because I'm really feeling her. And we got a spirit connection. This woman is powerful, but she don't know. And then they get to hear your background, see your background. It's like, no, you know what? I think I'm going to wife that because, yeah, people don't use her and abuse her. She done did this, did that. But I know she'll be faithful to me. She'll be respectful to me because she ain't used to no man like me. And she's always wanted one and daddy wasn't there. And mama ran the daddy off because she knew that she can't control that daddy and he not going to abuse that daughter. But so she will get weak ass motherfuckers that will abuse you like she wants to. I remember my mother was married to her first husband when I was a little girl who was very handsome. And she met him when he got out of the military and had some type of brain injury and brain surgery. He didn't have any children. And she didn't like the way he treated me. Now, he used to whoop her ass because he said she was a hoe. And he was damn right. And a drug addict. But my mother had some crazy pussy. And a lot of times niggas like crazy pussy. My mother's very spiritual, fine as fuck. Had a brick house body. There was a song called Brick House 36, 24, 36. Her big old elephant ass, little bitty waist, fat titties. Niggas be about to fall in ditches, walking forward but looking backwards in her ass. I had to give her that. And she used that to her advantage, but sick as fuck in the head and abused her kids. And her friends and usually the niggas she dated didn't know. Her husband didn't know. And I didn't say nothing. I was about 7 or 8. But her husband stayed outside one day. I think it was Kmart, the store called Kmart. He bought me a gigantic swing set. She didn't let me stay with her. She might get us on one day on the weekend and then dump us on people behind my grandmother's back because my grandmother liked to go to church. My grandmother had turned her life around, stopped drinking, smoking, and all this shit. He liked me for some reason. I was her first child. He stayed out there. He had a little kid. And that was the only man when I was little that made me feel special. He never molested me. He never raped me. He never touched me. He didn't do none of that. I don't have no stories about him to tell you. She got mad because he stayed out there. I'm talking about it wasn't like a little swing set with 2 little swings and a sliding board. This nigga got me. I had the sliding board on the end. I had the 2 swings in the middle. And then there was this other little chair swing that 2 people had 2 seats on it. One on the left, one on the right. You could sit inside the seat and swing back and forth. Then on the other end, he had some other toys with the shit. So it took hours. And he had got my mother a big old house. So she had a big old yard. It was a 2-part yard. And in the big yard, he put that swing set, even though she wouldn't let me come live with them. And one day he said, you need some clothes. He said he thought of me. I wasn't around. And he liked me so much. He bought the clothes. I was about 7, 8, like I said. And the clothes fit. And they were so pretty. He got on his knees. So I can imagine how he treated my mother. You know, they had their physical fight nights and shit. They go in there and fight and fuck. I know because when I would be there, sometimes I heard it. He was like obsessed with my mother. And she was obsessed with him. And they looked so good together. Like a black Barbie and Ken. She's light skinned. He's brown skinned. She's short. He's tall. I mean, they look like a perfect couple. Like a model couple. When they dress, they go out. Everybody's looking at them because they both were good looking. Physically perfect for each other. And He would buy her stuff too and take care of her. But she would do her own hustles and get high and fuck niggas on the side and shit and sell drugs. I don't know if he knew. But he was nothing like her husband she is now that abused us with her. He got on his knees. He said, come here, I want to give you something. So I came over to the house. She let us stay one night. He had all these brand new clothes for me and all these colors I liked that my grandmother would dress me in. You couldn't tell my one shirt. My grandmother dressed me and put my puffs, my afro puffs, my plaits. It's just my hair texture. I couldn't keep the big puffs, but I loved the girls that could have the big old afro puffs and the afro. Mine just go flat. And she'd have my bows. I had like the bows with the, y'all know what I'm talking about. They grew up like that. Your mama put them bows around your ponytail. They got the little round balls on them. Plait it or make the twist, plait it on the end. You got the ribbons on the end and you got the little bow clamp you put on the end. That's coordinated with your goddamn clothes. Don't let her have no goddamn tights or pantyhose with no sandals and shit with no little block heel on it. I should put grease on your leg, grease on your mouth. And little bracelet. My grandma had me little bracelets. Got my ears peels. But you couldn't tell me I wasn't goddamn saying something goddamn. You couldn't tell me I wasn't cute. And then my grandma was like, go outside and walk up and down the sidewalk, pose, and then take all these pictures of me. My grandma would take these pictures. And so he kind of reminded me of that because he would get my clothes. He'd get me a red and white outfit. I got the red socks with the white lace trim or red and white sock. I got the shoes. Do y'all know my mother did not like that? Stopped me from coming over there, divorced him, and told my grandmother he would rape me. He bought me stuff and he was nice to me because he wanted to have a sexual relationship. That man never fucking touched me. He just loved me. What he said was, when he was on his knees, he said, all I want you to do is just call me your daddy. I just want to be your daddy. I just want children so bad. I just want you to be my daughter. If you just call me daddy, it would make me so happy because he had no children. And I went to his mother's house in the country and she treated me like I was her grandchild. She engaged me. It's like leaving me at people's houses and we're relatives with one thing. You're basically just standing there, sitting there on your own. She would leave me with junkies, but he wasn't related to me. And his mother was so in love with him because he was like her favorite son and most handsome son. So if her son said, I accept her, I want her to be my daughter, I'm married to her mother, his mother asked no questions. She had a pig farm. She raised cows. She slaughtered them. I would be out there with her in the slop, feeding them the slop, touching the pig. She had this old-fashioned washing machine. She was teaching me how to wash. It's like I wasn't just left there, and he wasn't there. So she could have abused me anything because I'm not related to her. She didn't know me. I was so into, remember, farming and stuff because my grandmother had the garden in the project. So she also had the garden. I'm in the middle of this stuff, and these older women are basically treating me, well, just that one and my grandma, like I'm their student, because I was raised by older people. And then my great grandmother, which is my grandmother's mother, was right there on the end of the projects. She lived on the end. So she would look out and watch, and she would get the fresh green tomatoes, make that hot cha-cha and fried green tomato stuff. I'm the only grandchild my grandma has that like old people shit. I love to raise food. She taught me about how to clean water. She taught me how to clean veggies. I watch her cook. I watch her basically take a whole half of an animal, clean it, prepare it, break it down, put it in her deep freezer in the project. I was the only kid that liked that stuff, and she would let me do it. So his mother was engaging me. It's different than making someone stay somewhere and they say, yeah, I'll babysit the child, and the child gets to sit somewhere and they ignore the child. His mother was really active with me, and I really loved her. Once my mother saw that, but she didn't like my mother. So clearly this lady was psychic. She's like, she's no good. She got mad because his mom accepted me as one of her grandbabies. I couldn't go see her no more. I know some of y'all listening have this experience. That's what I'm telling you. Your mother will do what she can to tear you down, destroy you, and make people believe you're unlovable because they know that you naturally got that light in you, that swag in you, and you're meant to be great. And the only way you can do that is having the cooperation of other people in the world that are in the positions that have power or access to open doors for you. Your mother want to make sure that you die financially, mentally, emotionally, sexually, and socially, and you're not treated as the privileged lady. And subliminally, you'll just take it and go cry and be weak, and then take lesser, inferior relationships where people treat you like a divine prostitute instead of having high-level contracts with you. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why I said you're weak. You're not naturally weak. It's not for you to be weak. We didn't deserve what happened to us. But as I said, I am the VP general. I'm a soldier, yes, but I'm the general. I wasn't born to be that. Now I know I wasn't weak. You put a curse on me. You put a false personality on me, and you gave it your name. That's what one of the main reasons I changed my name. My birth name was Tia. My name now is Alexis K. Tyler, because if you look at anybody, at least not everybody, I will not say this is a guarantee. When I was little, one of the top nighttime soap opera shows was called Dynasty. One of the women I fell in love with was Joan Collins, Alexis Colby Carrington. Go back and look at those. Joan Collins was a badass bitch. And then they brought Diane Carroll on now, who was the half-black sister of Blake Carrington. She was a bad motherfucker, but I ain't want it. The one I was really in love with, who get into cat fights with the other pretty wife, I think it was married to Blake, was Crystal. I forgot her name. Blonde hair, blue eyes, very soft-spoken and elegant. And then there was the second wife. Was her, I think Linda. Her real name might be Linda, actress. They're all much older now, but they still took care of themselves, still look good. I think maybe Joan Collins might be in her 70s, ain't still a bad bitch. She was the more aggressive first wife that Blake didn't want no more. They get to talking they shit back and forth. Then Alexis jumped on the elegant wife, Crystal, with the blonde hair. They in the pool scrapping. My grandma and them loving this shit at night. Everybody talking about Dynasty. If y'all don't know, if y'all in that era, go look. Thank you, Star Child 79. I try to make it where I try to paint you a picture, so y'all can kind of get an image. Y'all can walk with me. Y'all can go with me. You know who I'm talking about? You can see it on YouTube. Linda Blair. That's right. Bad bitch, but we're cool. But to me, she wasn't better than that sexy black-haired one. Goddamn it, Alexis. And so when I got my name changed through Jewish organizations dealing with the Kabbalah, and I said, I want that name. And they said, you cannot have that name until we analyze your birthday. Your name you have now and your birthday. And so that's why I spell the way it is. Because it had to be energetically sound to match the soul that I was born with. It had to be numerically sound based on my birthday, and based on that soul that came in on my birthday. It had to match the frequency, because they said you have been living in weakness and you are a leader. And you're not going to match that frequency unless you change your name, change your personality, change your game, the way you see yourself, and the way that you let other people see you and engage you and handle you. That's what I mean. You're in a false personality. And I'm not saying you have to change your name, but if you're really cold-blooded about that shit, and you know that you're a leader, whatever your name was when you was a little girl, your mama slapped you, beat your ass, niggas fucked over you, and you took it living as a weakling because you were taught to be weak and you were broken. You were not raised in power. So now you must RIP. It depends on how extreme, bitch, what an extreme bitch you are. I know I'm a general. Y'all have seen me go through really dirty shit that people have done that I didn't deserve. because they couldn't show you proof that I deserved it. But you see, no matter how hard it was and sleeping in my car and no food, don't know how I'm gonna eat, I didn't sell my pussy, I didn't suck no dick, I didn't go out and strip. Excuse me, script, not strip, script, goddammit. I didn't shake my ass on no table. I got up every day and I went to a gas station, or I might have met somebody I didn't know. I had one friend at the time. I go wash my ass and I go wash my clothes. And I went out and started looking for jobs. And the boss or potential bosses I was meeting did not know I was homeless, did not know at night I would get a job where it was food there, or they give you free lunch or something, so that I could eat some food. I could have me a carton of milk a day, and, you know, I could use the bathroom, or, you know, I ain't got to pay that much for food. I will make sure I work where I'm near, or they give you a part of your lunch or your discount, some food and some water, use the bathroom and shit. I can go in and sneak in the bathroom, anybody else, wash my ass real quick. I then go to the laundromat and prepare myself, because I ain't have no clothes, because she took all my stuff and made me leave with the clothes on my back, and it was wintertime, and they were thin summer clothes. I didn't even have my coat. She wouldn't give it to me and thought it was funny. See, that's somebody hardcore. And my mother kept saying, oh, she's naive, she's slow, she ain't never been exposed to the street. And I'm just waiting within 2 weeks, the city of Atlanta police gonna knock on my door. She lived in Buckhead. And they're gonna tell me they found her ass dead. And she got excited and she was laughing about it. My half sister told me she wanted the death of her own child. You know who that kind of reminds me of? And I like movies like that because it was in those darkest hours. I didn't know how I would make it, because I wasn't going to do sexual things, even though she said I was a whore since I was 5 or 6 years old. I wasn't going to get this bitch the satisfaction of saying, see, I put you in a position to bring out your true character. Bitch, I'm not like you, because your mama caught you fucking at 15, 14, 15, and 16 and shit. And I was sitting at her graduation at 17. So that means you was fucking at 15, 16. If you 17, I'm at your graduation, bitch. You're a whore. And you didn't like yourself, and you want to excuse yourself and make you feel better so you can catch me up, so you can throw shit in my face. But bitch, to this day, she don't have no receipts on that shit. I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction. One of the movies that I like that reminds me of what happened to me so suddenly is Russell Crowe in the movie Gladiator. The general, Marcus Aurelius, and this is based on a true story, Roman history. He loved him and respected him so much because he was older, but the nigga was raw. Marcus Aurelius, the general, was raw. They live out in that hard, cold ass snow in the winter and shit, and have to survive piss shit and stay alive and fight. It was not a luxurious life. It's still not in the military, but it was better than what they went through. They raw than a motherfucker. A lot of them were having sex with each other because they felt that they would be more loyal and be winners in war if they were side by side, not just as soldiers, but they got a sexual bond with each other. Go look this stuff up. A lot of those Roman soldiers were bisexual or gay. Some of the most feared and vicious ones were, because they don't want their lover to die. So they fight to the death and cut your fucking head off, whatever they got to do to win. So Russell Crowe's character, he was, I think, a general in the military. He was a top, highly respected by his general, but he had a weak ass son. I forgot that man that played him. I don't like him. When I say that, because he was playing a real weak role, he was supposed to become the king or in charge of his father's empire when his father died, but the father never, and that's, fucked up, but he never respected his son. He respected Russell Crowe's character because Russell Crowe's character didn't want nowadays. You fuck with him, this motherfucker gonna fight you in the rain, the sleet, the cold, the winter, the motherfucking summer, goddamn fight you with your dog coming up against him, a horse coming against this motherfucker, and want raw. See, that is what people respect. I'm not saying it's right, but that's what people respect. When you done had your ass beat, when you done had your own mother say, this is the night I decided to put you out. Cold turkey. I walk in the door. You can't have your clothes. You can't have your shoes. You can't have no food. You can't have your money. I just took it all. And I'm going to tell everybody that you're nothing and nobody now that I've taken everything from you and you have nothing but you wearing. Get the fuck out of my house. And it is fucking 25 degrees outside. Literally, that's what happened to me. Then having other people violate me and steal from me and take things from me, and I'm outside with nothing. And in 5 minutes, I got to figure out how I'm going to pay my bills and how I'm going to eat. Oh, okay, my car is now my apartment. And I'm going to get up and I'm going to wash my ass and I'm going to go somewhere where I can pay $1 for a sandwich or something, or go to Wendy's. And ain't nobody going to know this, and I'm going to keep my head high. I'm not going to beg this bitch to stay here. See what? A bitch drops to 0 on you. You better drop to 0 on this bitch. Because I walked around heartbroken and hurt about that shit. And that she did it to me for years. But I never ate her food again. I never went to her house for Thanksgiving and holidays like we are a family. I never even took a clean, open glass of water from my mother. And she knew it. I told her I wouldn't, and she knew, stop inviting me for holidays because of your ultimate betrayal. You're a dirty, fat, red bitch. And I would never forget it, because if I begged you to come back, you would not respect me. And you already did not respect your own child. And if you would violate your own child and make up a reason to put me out, stand in my face and strip me of everything other than what I'm wearing, and you took my checks, you stole my money, and I would beg you at that moment. No, I would not beg you. I was heartbroken and I was devastated that you would do that to me, but beg you, I still had pride. I still had dignity. And you would never, ever do that to me one time. And the betrayal cut like a knife. And you think I would ask you, beg you to come back to your house because you would do it again. You take that and everybody can't take it. Because I never went on psych meds. I never had a nervous breakdown. I was heartbroken, yes, but I was determined to be everything she said I could not be. I was determined to eat without selling my ass or sucking dicks or getting butt naked for $1. I was determined to stay alive and become everything she didn't want me to be, because she said I would die because I was slow. But yet I had intuition. And I would be better than her, and I would be everything she said she was, and then something, some more, because you said I was nothing. And that pain and the betrayal and the heartbreak drove me. And as you can see, I'm in my 50s. And she said I was 19 and I would be dead in 2 weeks. And then continue to do dirty shit and lie and try to destroy me. I got no love from this bitch. This dick sucking bitch still do me dirty shit. But yet, I survive. Yet, I rise. I don't just subexist. I thrive in that misery, in that pain. I am sorry, but that is the only thing that this world respects. When you have been destroyed or almost destroyed and you have nothing, a man that has nothing to lose. It's more dangerous than any motherfucker breathing. You took everything from me, but you did not take my light. You did not take the inner strength that you said I did not have. And you did not take my breath, and you did not make me take my own breath. And when you look at Gladiator, that's what happened. His son was so jealous of Russell Crowe's character, because this is a real motherfucking raw ass motherfucking nigga. Took him, killed his father, because the father told him to his face, I will never respect you like I respect him. You're my son and you weak. You don't have what he has. Murdered his fucking father, laid him there, pulled the goddamn covers up and said he died in his sleep. And Russell Crowe's character knew that that was a fucking lie. He knew that he was the next in power, and that the people wanted him in power. Russell Crowe's character, not the general's son, not the king. If y'all looked at that, you know what I'm talking about. If you ain't, you need to watch. Oh wow, Gina. I hate to say that, but it was allowed to happen to me. So I guess that is the way it was meant to be, because she didn't have to do me like that. She didn't have to do her other daughter like that. It didn't. You don't. You know what? It's not. I can't even say. I can't even argue with you. I can't even disagree with you, because God or whatever ancestors let her do me dirty like that. I didn't have another option, and family members let her do that shit to her kids and watched it. And you have a choice in those moments. Look, it's not, I can't judge what you did. You had to suck dicks because that would have been, you would have made more money than I made. And you would have had to come up and survive. As long as you live and you survived it, I can't judge it. It's what you have in you to handle, to stomach, to stand. I couldn't stand it because she had said that my whole life. I ain't want all them niggas jacking on me, coming on me. I still don't like that kind of shit. When Russell Crowe's character went outside in the woods, they had to do it. The soldiers were now up under the leader's son, because he killed the leader, killed his own fucking daddy for power. And you could tell if you watch him, he was a weak leader, because like his father said, I love you, you my son, but I hate to admit it, you weak. He really didn't respect his own goddamn it son. Nigga born weak like that, goddamn it. I mean, he ain't weak. So he don't know what genetic gene pool his son came from, because that ain't, even though that man was old and had some gray scrangs on his head, this motherfucker still was raw and wasn't scared of no goddamn body. But his son, half his age, a goddamn punk and a coward. Even his sister, remember the sister in Gladiator, was more powerful than that. Then he in love with his sister and told his sister, you gonna fuck me and have my fucking baby. I mean, this motherfucker wild. Wild AF and sick and weak and ready to, with like a lot of them committed, you know, even some African people that ruled Egypt first. They're trying to say ETs ruled it and ETs built the pyramids, because they don't want to admit that Nubians and Africans did this shit until they started to inbreed with them and take over Egypt, and it failed. They would do incest, and the Queen of England and that family would commit incest to keep power within the family. That's how the elite do. He willing to do this to his sister, and as he's saying it to her, tears are rolling down her face like, oh my God, even I know my brother weak, goddammit. I'm more of a man than his motherfucking ass. Now I gotta fuck him because my daddy did and ain't nobody protect me. Then they tried to kill Russell Crowe's character, had him tied, I think his hands tied on a horse. His ass so raw, he got out of that and whooped their ass and made the horse get away. And oh my God, he going home because he know they going for his wife and little boy. Sat there and brutally murdered his little bitty boy and his wife and set his house on fire. And this man stayed alive and kept calling his ancestors. Then he went with Hansu, the African actor that married Kimora Lee, had a baby by Kimora Lee, that he watched over him, and when he cut his arm, it got infected. He started putting the maggots in it. Remember to eat the pus and stuff out of it and clean it. And then he was sold into slavery, which is a form of death, but then became strong. Remember, towards the end, they made him fight. And the king's son, that's the coward that murdered his father and tried to kill him, because he knew what the fuck it meant if this motherfucker stayed alive, goddammit. He didn't know he was alive. He said, slave, take off your mask. He said, no. He turned his back. Russell Crowe's character, he said, I said, don't turn your back on me. I said, take your mask off. Because see, he had false power. When you have education and a job and you're given a position, but you really a fucking weak ass nigga or weak ass bitch, you got false power. Because then you lose that job, you lose that money and shit, then you the same weak motherfucker, but you have power when you have no physical things. You have nothing to lose and you have more power because you have nothing and nobody to lose, because they done stripped your ass naked. And the only thing you got is the breath you motherfucking breathing. You still got the nerve to be raw. You still got the nerve to sleep in your car. You still got the nerve to come up with a plan to rise above that shit and become self-sufficient and independent with no education, no degree, no motherfucking money, no friends with favors and money and opportunities. And then you ain't out there trying to merge with them and get power by sucking dicks and getting fucked.
That is the true source of your power. And that's when I go back to saying you weak. You living weak because you don't know you weak and you got a false name and a false personality. Then think about it, okay? Your mother named you Ann, all right? For the day she's carrying you, she don't want you because the one she really in love with is your daddy. He don't want her. So now you're just expendable. You mean nothing because you can't get me where I want to go or get me the nigga that I want. You're not a keeper nigga baby now because now the nigga don't give a fuck. He want to see the child. He don't want you. And now you won't let him see the child. So Ann gets abused and fucked all over. So when she says you're a whore, she calls you what? Ann. When she slaps you and abuses you in front of people, she calls you what? Ann. With every blow. What did I tell you, Ann, you stupid ass bitch? So you grow up with your name naming Ann. Everything that's been said that's fucked up about you, you're a whore, you dumb, you're stupid, I beat Ann ass, get on the phone, tell their friends. Now you're walking around with a false personality named Ann. How could you love and respect yourself and every time this bitch call your name and have a conversation with you, if she's just talking to you and that's abusive, and then she puts her hands on you to abuse you, she's doing that to Ann. See, that's why this bitch had to raise up off the NUTs and get none of these. You weren't going to call me by that name, bitch, because it terrified me. I'm a wounded little child in a grown woman's body. And certain ways this bitch would stand in front of me and still try to intimidate me and look at me. And certain inflections of when she would raise her voice to get angry, that intimidated the wounded little girl in me that she named Tia. So you know you have power and control over me because you have psychological control over the wounded child and the traumatic child that's trapped in the recesses of my subconscious, my medulla oblongata. And you use that to abuse and control me. And I hated the way it felt because I was a grown woman in my 30s, which is when I started, I took the chance and got the courage to go in entertainment. And that's when I started changing my name before I got in entertainment. When I did my first show, I was legally Alexis K. Tyler, Vagina Power. And it took her control, her power off of me because you were my slave master and you were my abuser and you were my oppressor in every area of my life. And you liked it that way. And she had to know because my mother's extremely psychic and intelligent. And she deals with the science of the mind, the metaphysics of the mind. And she's a preacher, remember? She went to all these white schools and theological seminaries and had been trained in Satanism, psychology, mentalism, metaphysics, demonology. So she knew the light side and the dark side, dealing with walking with the angels and bragging about walking with the demons. So preachers play on people with their psychology, their mentality, and then say you cannot question it, you cannot challenge God, and bind you up with the word. Twist the word, and they become the flock, and they become slaves of the preacher. So she knew to enslave someone, to abuse them, you give them a certain name like slave masters do. If you go watch Kunta Kinte, and that white man was beating him, he said, your name Toby. He said, no, my name is Kunta Kinte. And then he beat him again naked and was tearing his skin off. Your name Toby. He said, my name Kunta Kinte. He beat him so bad that he passed out. And as he was passing out, he said, my name is Kunta Kinte. He couldn't break that nigga. He couldn't fucking break him, but they'll break you, calling you a certain name and humiliate you and dig into you and physically assault you and beat you. And you will be forever trapped, a weakling with a strong physical body and being an adult chronologically, but still being weak and letting different people take on her role, new people, niggas, fake fans and everything based on that name, that personality. That's why I said, you're not going to call me that. Ain't nobody going to call me that. And if you call me that, and I just told you not to, they told me do not talk to the person. Cut off her. And that helped me be strong because you're disrespecting me. And you don't want me to change and to grow into a general. Everybody doesn't have that position, and I didn't want that position. I didn't want that role. But I'm going to tell you, the more brutal your life is, And the more brutal your oppressor is, especially if your own mother and other people allowed to join in to try that hard to break a child. You tried to break me and I'm a little girl and you did adult things to me that I didn't deserve. And the way she violated me and put me out of her house as if I stole something or I hit her or attempted to hit her or disrespect her, I didn't do any of those things. For you to be that brutal to your child, that young, to do what you would do to an adult and put them out in the cold, and knew I had no money, no friends, no resources, because she told her friends that God will punish them and they will be removed from the church if they even let me wash my ass with some hot water, give me a hot plate of food to eat. And I survived it. I was stronger than she thought I was. Even though I'm quiet and easygoing, I'm a beast. And see, people will underestimate you because you're not loud, because you're not rowdy, you don't drink, you don't suck dicks, you don't run the street, you ain't always provoking nobody and starting no shit, unless they do something to you first. Other than that, you don't. They take you as weak because you're quiet and easygoing. But when something happens to you, how you respond or you do not respond says a lot about who you really are and who you are not. And if you are one of those types of individuals, you will scare the shit out of your mother. And she'll always determine from the day she looks in your face, you think your mother don't know that you're beautiful, you're special, you're divine, you have a heart of gold, you're an empath. She knew when she looked in your goddamn face, either when they pulled you out of her ass, whether she dropped it low to the ground and you slid out of her ass, or whether they cut you out of her ass. The first day she looked at you, she knew that you were a problem. She knew that you were going to be a fucking problem to her. And women like that feel that I gotta break you, bitch. You little bitch, I said, I gotta break you. And I'm going to be brutal towards you and have no compassion. And then they wonder why bad things happen to them. Once they get older, why fucked up shit ends up happening to them. Because I saw her, all the millions of dollars she had, all the ones she stole from me and my father, all her church that did whatever she said, they turned against her years ago. She's lost all of it. She's lost her respect and her credibility. And she was able to do this shit for 30 years. And I asked God, when will this end? Jesus, how long will you allow her to do this? And Jesus didn't step in. That's why I'm not on that Jesus freak shit. It's not that I don't believe in the Holy Scriptures. I do. And I think the first Bibles come from Ethiopia. And those are some of the most powerful high priests in the world. And in that culture and their Bible. So it's not that I don't believe in the true scriptures. And the books that they stole out of there that you can't see. You'd have to research them on your own, like the Maccabees. And the real books that they have deleted, no, I do accept them. But this Jesus shit over here in the U.S. and jumping and hopping around, calling for this Jesus with his blonde hair and blue eyes, and that ain't even his name. He ain't gonna answer you. He ain't gonna motherfucking come. You can call him and you will get disappointed, heartbroken, and get sucker punch your mama, knock your fucking teeth out while you waiting for that one. Just like the young lady said to me earlier, but that was meant to happen to you so that you can become who you are and what you are. One of my friends had said to me a long time ago, he said, Alexis, you have to understand, you did not become who you are because of your mother. You became, and any good thing she did to you or for you, you became who you are in spite of your mother. That's a difference. Then she wanted to be with me and be on my show and get out in public. And they were like, wow, this woman is amazing. Are you proud of your daughter? And I'm looking at her because they don't know what I know. I'm not telling them, when I first came out and everybody was interviewing me and I went viral everywhere. And she kind of looked down and they didn't really know. Because I know the bitch wasn't. The bitch was jealous of me. Yeah, I'm really proud of my daughter because they thought that she groomed me to be this way. And she taught me everything I became is what she did not want me to become. I had to live in the street, eat in the street, or die. And I wasn't going to be weak and let some police or some coroner tell her. Within 2 weeks, you take everything and you set me up to fail. That they have my body, they want her to ID. It wasn't going to happen. Even in the weakness I felt, I still felt more strength. And I would not fight this bitch, even though I wasn't even fighting the bitch. But I wasn't going to have to fight for my life and what she had done and set me up for total annihilation, humiliation, and degradation that led to death. You weren't going to cash your policy on me, bitch. Because I know the bitch was good at getting policies on motherfuckers and then setting them up, motherfucker come up dead. Then all of a sudden we would see her after a relative hang with her. She got a brand new car. She got marble tile and shit on the floor. And we know that you did it, bitch. You know, so it's just, you wasn't gonna write my ending, even though you set me up and you had any and every opportunity and you had co-signers of other dirty fucking black bitches in the family your age older than me that was co-signing it on a little girl, putting a satanic bounty on your fucking head, and you weak about it because you hurt because that's your fucking mama. But at the same time, you better realize you're a gladiator. And my other favorite movie that I used to say when people used to come and we would always say, it's Sparta, bitch. One of my favorite scenes from Sparta with that wild ass motherfucker in there, when that black man, I think he was a Moor, and he worked for that gay man that was going around killing every tribe, killing the leader of the tribe, raping the boys and the girls in Sparta. That black man was working for him. And he said, you think I be up under you boy lovers and let y'all do this to my son? And remember, it was a big old hole in the ground like a well. And he said, if you don't submit now, we're going to come and take it later, kill you, burn you up, and enslave you women and children and your boys. And he said, he looked back at his wife. The wife, remember that if y'all seen it, if you're not, go watch it on YouTube. She nodded her head like slowly, like, nigga, handle that. And he turned around, he said, this is Sparta, and kicked this motherfucker in the chest. Motherfucker fell back and went all the way down that hole. You remember that? Now he knew, goddamn it, this was fucked up. And you know, it was damned if you do and damned if you don't. If I don't get this motherfucker out of here, they're gonna come invade. This black man just told me this. If I kill you right now, they know your motherfucking ass come up missing. They're gonna know it's the last place you go. They'll know this motherfucker, this raw motherfucker that killed this motherfucker. So either way, I'm going down. So let me go down fighting. Let me go down on my feet, goddamn, instead of going down on my knees. Kick this motherfucker fell backwards. That's when Xerxes, that's Xerxes with the nose ring with the chain hooked on his ear like a bitch with grease around his goddamn it mouth. He was so impressed with this general, and he didn't even have all the men, the animals to fight. He did not, what do they call those? The immortals. He had a special crew of killers called the immortals. Xerxes did. They were all black, I think, with their white face. They look like that mask, I think, I know what you did last summer. And he was still so impressed with this general. He said, why don't you work for me? If you would just bow, if you just get on your knees and just honor me, I'll give you the world. I'll give you Issa. I don't deal with boy lovers. Whatever you're going to do to me, you're going to do. And one of the leaders over the immortals for Xerxes, they were talking shit. They cut that goddamn man hand off. And he said, oh, you're going to pay for this. He said, we're going to release so many arrows in the sky. The sky in the daytime will turn black. That general said, fine. We'll fight in the shade. Blanket, nigga. Now, they died. God damn it. They died in the end. It's based on true story, too, as you know. But he died on his feet. And he died with dignity. Fought to the end. They watched him be killed. I think his wife and child was then subject to the new government that was corrupt and defiled. And he ended up leaving them. But kind of in that situation, you can't win. When you ambush like that and the odds are stacked against you, baby, your hand's so fucked up, but that's the only hand you got. It's just like Kenny Rogers said in that song, you got to know when to hold them, know when to walk away, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away. Sometimes you can't walk away, goddammit. And you can't fold it. You got to hold it. Because that's the only hand you got, and you ain't got nobody like I didn't have one. She said, now get out of my house. Because you have nothing and nobody but what you man. Did you really think? I think this bitch thought that. That even though I was that young and all the pain she had inflicted on me, you really think you're going to say that to me? Now you can go, you have nothing and nobody, and that I was going to go out and be found dead 2 weeks later? Oh no, bitch, I challenge you. You will never let that happen to me, bitch. I will never kill my own self and will myself to death because you put me in a life and death situation, bitch. That's why I'm still here. It took a while because I didn't like hurting like that. And I could never forgive her for that shit. And I still will never fuck with this bitch. I really work on not hating her and forgiving her because I know in the end, I'll see her in her casket before she see me in mine. That's what it's going to be. You will not have the satisfaction, bitch, of taking everything from me because I had no control of what I owned. You're a child, you're a minor living in somebody's house. They got the bills, you're a minor, they're your legal guardian. I didn't even realize she wasn't even my legal guardian. At 19, I was an adult. I was so fucking retarded and had no education and didn't know the law. I'm like 12 years old in the motherfucking head. And I still beat this bitch. I consider myself victorious over this bitch because I'm still alive. I learned from it. I can tell y'all these stories and I don't blame myself. And I know I did nothing wrong. And after you beat my ass, God, Allah, Buddha, whoever allowed you to do that shit, yet I rise, bitch. Just like, what's her name? I see her face. Y'all know what I'm talking about. She said, well, I walk like I got gold wells in between my thighs. You hate me, but yet I rise. What her name? Maya Angelou. You know, she was raped as a baby. And stopped talking for a while. I think a movie called I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings is based on that. But her uncles figured out who did it and beat the brakes off this motherfucker, killed his ass for raping that little girl. Then she was 8 or 9 years old. And look at what she accomplished throughout her life. She thrived. Yet I rise. And she was not destroyed by that. She became a very, very powerful role model, leader, and queen, and told her story. That's how we knew her story. And now she has made history. She is a big part of American history, even world history, and highly respected. You have to decide whose side you're on, bitch. I love you too, Donovan. I'm glad I can. Yeah, adoptive mothers. I know adoptive mothers that's jealous of the adopted daughter or son and treat them the same fucking way, and they have to overcome them. So her and her adoptive father not asking me for money. If I was you, I wouldn't. Unless they really loved you and took care of you, I wouldn't. And I remind her how she treated me. So how do you live with time taken away? What can you do about it? It's gone. All that time was taken from me is gone. And you have to find your ways to work with that and come to peace with it because you can't change it. You can't go back and do a motherfucking thing about it. You can be angry, you can be resentful, you can stay in your head about it, but the time is gone. All you can do is learn from it, shift the way you perceive it, and become a better person with the time you got. Because I feel like I'm working on borrowed time. You ain't got as much as you had. They took it, and there's not a goddamn thing nobody can do about the shit. So what you gonna do about living in the now? What you gonna do about taking that and becoming wiser? If you need therapy, baby, go to therapy. You need a little med, take a little med. While you do your shadow work, and while you find people that have been through it, whether it's getting an education, learning about it, as well as people like me that done been in the trenches and doing hands-on training, goddamn it. living. See, nobody can't tell me. Now, when I listen to somebody educated and you give me the medical term for the sick shit the bitch had, and you help me understand it and understand it on a psychological level based on the medical training you have, the psychological training you have, or you're a psychiatrist, you can help me put a name to it and figure it out and learn to rise above it in the lessons and really map that shit out. But it's still not as deep and the same as because you're getting the technical side of it. But to actually live that shit, like a lot of y'all are telling me that you lived it like I did, and as well as then sit up there and psychoanalyze that, goddamn it, riddle me this, like the Joker in this motherfucker, because I couldn't accept the shit without knowing the who, what, when, where, why. You got to know them 5 variables. Who, what, when, where, why, goddamn it. I couldn't sit with it because I couldn't understand it. That's the main thing. You're fucking with me, fucking. And you know what, to be honest, I don't know if you have no children. That's a lot of the reason too I lost a lot of time in my life. Because I was left with a baby and had nothing, nobody, and didn't have my own family to go to. My mama telling my baby dad, I'm a hoe, I suck anybody dick, I do anything. And he believed the shit. And then I wouldn't tell him the truth about this bitch wasn't never there. An avoidant and abandoning fucking mother who's a liar and a fucking abuser and let everybody join in on the shit. I wasn't going to do what she did because she left me with my grandmother and went to school and partied and sucked dicks and did dope and did everything but died and lived her best life. And people didn't even know the bitch had no children or where they was. And she dumped them in the projects in Atlanta under a motherfucking mama. I could have left my son and went to college and developed naturally from a little girl to a teenager and puberty and learn life skill, people skill, love, relationships, dating, sports, athletics, all those things I wanted to do. I could have left my child and did, and the people would say, you should do that. I don't think they meant no harm, but they said, your child is young and he doesn't know that you're poor. So before he can know that, leave him with somebody to take care of him. Get your college degree, build things up. So by the time he get 9, 10, 11, 15, he won't even know that you were poor because you got your education. I couldn't do that because of the way those same family members did me. And then he's a boy. Y'all know with some of these female-driven families, if I had left to go to school, they would have told me I'm leaving to suck dicks. And I seen this happen where when you go to school or they have to go to jail or they have a mental breakdown, your mama and them get behind your back, tell defects, you done ran off, they don't know where you doing, or you crazy, you on mental problems, you smoking crack and shit. Get legal custody, guardianship, or women will give their child to their mama and grandmama because they had to go to jail or they couldn't mentally cope or they got on dope because of what the mama and grandmama and them done did. They then use that as an opportunity. Well, she gave me temporary custody. The bitch still ain't shit. So let's go on and make it permanent. Take your boy and turn your boy against you. So now you got a male child where the women pet but destroy the girls. Your boy child calling you all kind of bitches and shit and don't have no kind of fucking respect for you because they see only what the bitch told them and you wasn't there to defend yourself for something that came out your ass. So now you spend a whole life of conflict and division with your own fucking child. That's another reason why I lost time because I wasn't going to leave mine. Because many times once those women get in that boy's head, and they see you in the position you in, they don't really understand and what that same grandmama that took that child from you that's loving on you, that abuse you because that's your fucking mama. They have problems in their relationship their whole fucking life because the child have been brainwashed or fucking molested and shit by people in the family. And what can you say when they say, but you wasn't there? To me, it didn't matter the reason that I wasn't there. That child look at you and they know you weren't there. They don't fuck that child head up so bad, or the 2 or 3 children, boy and girl, is you can never fix it because they don't have the missing variable. They don't have the X factor, which is the information that was left out and was filled with goddamn it lies. So yeah, I have regrets about that time that is gone. But I felt like, and I still feel like this. My child remembers my smell. My child remembers my long hair hanging in his face at 8 months old. 8 months. My child remembers my voice, remember me singing to him and telling him how much I love him and talking about how to walk and talking about how to talk and talking about how to write and talking about how to ride his first goddamn bicycle. No matter what lie my mother tells, she can never tell my child that I abandoned him, I abused him, I wasn't there, I was smoking dope, because my child at that young remembers me. I'd rather have wasted that time, so-called waste, which in a way it was, because that's my baby. I'd rather put my life on hold and sacrifice for him, because I wasn't sacrificed for, I was the sacrifice. And just be a late bloomer. Try to get that shit together and develop myself older, because now there's something, no matter how many lies you tell, you cannot change the history of my life with my child, and you cannot turn my child on me. No matter what we done been through, because of the strong soul that child has and the memory. Whether you love them or hate them, if it's extreme, the younger the child is, the more the child will remember. Because either the abuse was extreme or the love and the sacrifice was extreme. So nobody's not going to be able to tell, no, grandma, my mama loved me. No, grandma, no, you didn't raise me. No, you know, my mama, I know who my mama is, grandma. That's what he would tell me. He was little. He said, I told her, I know my mama. My mama, and he's like 7 to 8. He said, you're not going to turn me against my mama. And I said, what? He said, Mama, when I go over there, he tried to turn me, him, a husband, and her try to turn me against you. I said, I know who my mom is. And she would get mad. So you got to figure out how you work through that and who help you work through that. You're going to have to reach out to professionals as well as people that have been through what you've been through to get your own perspective of it. And you got to journal. You got to really work through it and even confront this bitch. To this day, some of y'all are scared to confront the bitch. Why did you do me like that? Why did you hit me like that? Why did you let other people do that? Why did you let him rape me? Why did you let them abuse me? Why you didn't do nothing about it? Y'all are scared to fucking do that. I used to be scared to do it. And I was shaking, and I had to do it first. I did stages. I wrote her a letter and I mailed it to her address. She didn't respond, and then came and apologized and then stabbed me again. Okay, I got the courage to write it, because I was that wounded little child with that name she gave me, and I had to kill that personality and totally get rid of that name. Then I was comfortable enough. I might have been nervous, heart pounding. I said it on the phone. And I kept doing it, even though I was scared. I did it anyway till I could say it to the bitch face. Then the verbal threats, I'll kill you, bitch. I'll come blow your brains out, bitch. You dumb bitch. I'm dumb because I confront you about refusing to take your place spiritually, legally, psychologically, mentally, emotionally, and be a mother, because you brought me into this world and you're responsible for me, and you choked and you abandoned your children for any and everybody to put dick and pussy in their fucking mouth. Why did you do that? And now I'm dumb because I confront you. No, you're calling me dumb because now I'm pressure. I'm pressure, bitch. And I'm a grown-ass woman, and I can ask you as a grown-ass woman, why did you violate your own children? And you don't want to face that you're sick and twisted, and you want me to keep trying to lick your ass and get approval. You want me to be in weakness, bitch. And I'm asking you toe-to-toe as a grown-ass woman. And then it's the insults, it's the physical threats. Well, now I can get a gun too. They didn't just make one for your hand, bitch. So when she sees this, I'm realizing who really the weakest one is, who the weakest link is here, which is you. Anybody can do that to their child. And then try to perpetuate it to make you so miserable in life because they're so jealous to turn your children on them and then on the ultimate get your children on dope because you can't get me on dope. You know what I'm saying? I seen my half sister snort powder with her, but nobody can ever come out and tell you that I did. I ain't never had no powder in my nose. I was never a junkie. No matter how I might have been depressed, I might have felt weak. But I had a child that I dropped off in this world. He wasn't going to see me do that. Even if he did it, you my child, okay, we can deal with that. But I'm your mother. And no matter how bad things get, I'm supposed to, by any means necessary, always provide a safe place for you. Always have a cognitive mind and always stay free and strong in this world. No prison, no locked in a psych ward, no locked into my own vices because I can't deal with what happened to me by being a fucking junkie, letting him see niggas fuck me, let him hear the headboard slamming my head against the wall because different nigga. None of that. See, people, I heard a man say the other day, and then I'm going to go. And y'all hit my cash up and make it clap. Somebody put my cash up in here. A man said, different men, and it's a lie. Women are so weak because they're emotional and they don't need to run company. They get periods, they get PMS. No, we don't. Women don't handle things and make strong decisions and take care of children and stick with things long term. Men usually do that. Those are male traits. That's a lie. I learned that from my grandmother. Because I feel like this, like I just said. It don't matter how difficult things get. It don't matter that I get outside. It don't matter if I don't have a job. It don't matter if I'm hungry. If I have a child, I don't leave that child. No matter how I want to get fucked, no matter how I want to go to school, no matter how I want to travel, I got a little child. That child needs food, clothing, and shelter. And I know I can't depend on his daddy and I can't depend on my family and they want to catch me slipping. Even though I'm developing as a normal human being, I got to put my development on hold. Because every day I can't look in that child's face and say, you can't have no slip. I ain't got nothing to get you no Similac. I ain't got your clean bottle. I ain't got your lights on. I ain't got your place to stay. It might not be the best place to stay, but it's a clean, safe place to stay for a child. I can't look at him and tell him I can't get you no shoes this month. I can't get you no clothes this month. Now, I might not buy me a brand new pair, but, I go to the Goodwill, which is what I used to do when my child was little. I get me a little food stamp, give me a little check and, get your WIC voucher. So you get your cheese, your milk and things every month. But I could not tell that child no. And no matter how miserable or alone I felt, because I want to party, I want to go out, I want to have friends, I want to get my education, but I have a baby looking at me with nobody to depend on but me. So I had to get it one way or another as a woman because I chose not to have an abortion and I got pregnant and I wasn't on birth control pills and I had never had sex before. And I had sex with my daddy, my son daddy. And I got pregnant by my son there, and I had not been fucking no man. I'm like a kid. I just dumb, looking for love, something to hold on to. And I knew this nigga just wasn't shit. He was a pretty nigga, but he wasn't shit, and I ain't knowing. Got pregnant. Told him it wasn't going to be no abortion. But it don't have to be no you. You ain't got to come around. And I didn't beg him. I didn't chase him. And his ass kept coming around. While I was pregnant, when he said, I don't want to be around because it probably ain't mine. Your mama said it wasn't mine. And so I'll see it after you have it and I'll decide what I'm going to do then. And I said, you ain't never got to make a decision, but get the fuck on and keep on stepping. You say you don't want it. You don't want to be around. Bye, nigga. Because I'm more than what you think. And I'm stronger than what you think. I raised a child by itself and I ain't killing it. That's how I saw it. And that's how I still see things. It doesn't matter what odds are stacked against you. Bitch, you still get it done in your hurting, in your crying, in your heartbreak, in your feelings of betrayal, in your abandonment, and in your pain. That's what a real bitch do. That's what a real gladiator do. That's what a real general do. When it's get difficult and everybody has turned their back on you, I wasn't leaving that child. That was my duty. It wasn't emotional. It wasn't feminine. It wasn't PMS. You can't say because a woman is a woman that she will be emotional and she will break and fold under pressure and she will leave her child or suck dick or sell her ass or violate and abuse her child because you're stressed. Because every woman ain't built the same way. Bitch, get her done. Don't brag about what you bought your child. Don't brag about where you took your child. Don't brag about how much you pay rent because that's what you do. When things are difficult and nobody's there because that's something that came out of you. So since nobody showed up for you, you show up for them. It's about honor. It's about integrity. It's about doing what you say. It's about intestinal fortitude. No matter how hard it gets for you, you still got to get up and get her done because it came out of you. And that's just how I've always felt. I feel like crying, I cry. I feel like whining, I whine. Okay, but bitch, get up, wash your pussy, put your clothes on, put your shoes on, and go find you a job and go get you some resources because you have a baby that don't know it's in the world and everybody's turned this back on you and everybody's turned this back on it and they want you to fail. And you cannot look at that baby and tell that baby no. You cannot tell it, no, I can't get you no shoes this month. No, stuff is slow, so I can't get you no milk. Or I can't let you suck my titty because I ain't got enough food to eat to build up the sustenance in my body. Then you go to the welfare office. You go to the food bank. You go to your church. You go to people that will treat you better than your biological family did because they genetically your family, but they don't like you. You're not shit to them because you cannot look in that baby's eyes and tell it no. If you tell your child no, don't tell it to me because I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't care if you have to budget for your own life. Like I said, buy some used shoes, some used pants and shit, but you do not tell that baby no. It is not a time to be feminine, to be emotional. To me, it's not males do it and women don't. No, it's about who your soul is. Do you have courage? Do you have drive? Do you keep your word? Do you show up and do what you say you're going to do for the ones that are depending on you, even when you're miserable as hell? Even though you know it's fucked up and you got a raw deal and a bad hand. How do you respond? In the most difficult times, that was my duty. That was my job. That was the obligation to take care of what I had, even though I didn't make that baby by myself. So that time for my life and what I should have did and all that, to me, that was gone because my first obligation was to what I carried. Because I don't want my son ever hearing that I choked and left when it was the most difficult. I don't want my son hearing and it be a fact that I left him. It wasn't about emotional shit. It was about my duty and who I am as a woman and who I am not, who I am as a soul being and who I am not. It was fucked up. But I had to answer the call of duty. And I don't respect a woman that don't. I'm not saying you built like me and that you need to be built like me, but it's something you just do and something you don't. And especially when it comes to having a baby out your ass. Thank you, Tina. So yes, kids do slow. Create a time portal. No, they don't, Michelle, because look at my mother. They just leave them and live their life. It don't create. She had no gaps in the time of her life because my mother was never like me. She done did everything she want to do but fucking die. Every woman don't have no time portal, or if they are lucky and smart and know how to handle themselves with me. I ain't know how to handle myself with men. I ain't even know how to handle myself with my own goddamn self. Didn't have any good principles in life and instruction when taught how to handle yourself, handle men. Make sure you don't get fucked over. I didn't know none of that shit. I'm just a kid out here in a grown person body with a fucking baby and dumb. Not because I'm naturally dumb, but because I was not educated and trained to be a powerhouse by a mother who was a powerhouse, but was a narcissist and weak and twisted and psychotic and sick in the head, who only wanted that for herself, who only wanted to be seen for themselves, which makes you weak. Because like I said, degrees, money, jobs, you can lose that and then you see what the person really is and really isn't. But if you have to live on the edge, you have to create rules as you go. You have to learn to survive as you go because your whole world will snatch from underneath you and you stand up and you still handle your business. That's a goddamn gangster bitch. A leader, a general, because you have to create your own blueprint because nobody gave you one. So you just basically out here in the wilderness with nothing and nobody but whatever God you holding on to, because that's all I had. I just knew some kind of way that I was going to rise one day and have people listening to me, calling my name, speaking about me. So my spirits was saying, no matter how broke or how poor you feel right now, do not go out and prostitute and suck dicks and shake your ass, because if you do, 20 years from now, you're going to be a public speaker. People are going to look at your life. People are going to listen to you. They're going to see how fucked up your life was, and they're going to be inspired by you, unless they also heard you did that. Not that they heard I did it, but that you got proof. Nobody has proof that I did it because I didn't. I wanted nice things, and I would see women with beautiful cars and beautiful clothes and beautiful houses, and I felt like shit because I didn't have it. I didn't have education. I didn't have money. I didn't have niggas with money. I didn't have family. My mother had money and deliberately took it from her children so she could say, you nothing ass stupid bitch, look at me and look at you. Yeah. And I still would not compromise myself. I compromise myself with men in the sense of I'm looking for love, but yet felt unlovable and didn't love and respect myself, didn't know how to handle relationships with men, didn't know how to handle sex with men. See, there are so many areas where we were undeveloped and immature and insecure. Baby, they did teach you something, Gail. They taught us self-hatred, unworthiness, that our life didn't have no value, wasn't worthy to live. You're dumb, you're stupid, you ain't gonna be this and you ain't gonna be that. Yeah, she taught you something. It was the wrong thing, but whether it just went positive, she taught you something. All the things you have to unlearn and unteach yourself. Just like a lady said something that was a powerful point, because I'm looking, telling her point, counterpoint, and she said, wow, when you said that, that just opened something in me. Thank you. She said, my mother chose not to bond with me, chose not to love me, respect me. I said, your mama did bond with you. She just bonded with you in a fucked up way. She chose a negative bond. She chose a self-sabotage, trying to murder her daughter on many levels and set her up to murder herself and attract other people to murder themselves. You looking at her, she making you feel weak and see yourself as a weakling. She's treating you like that because she don't want to validate you as divine and give you love and respect. So she chose not to bond with you that way. And usually y'all will notice, if you think back, the women that abuse y'all, let their friends and niggas beat their ass and abuse them and chase love from them and made you run after your mother and chase her, and she wouldn't give it to you. And the people she chased wouldn't give it to her. So she got it through sex energy and through money, cars, clothes, and things. But really a raggedy bitch and uncover. Yeah, you got a degree and you're making money, but these bitches miserable, alone, and undercover, goddamn it, pill addicts and got psych meds and shit. But they got their money and people look up to them, so that's better to them than not real love at all. Then fuck with your daughter and fucked over your daughter and let everybody else do it and watch life do it to her and watch her stumble and fall because of the type of bond you had and because of the type of bond you didn't have. Either way, it's still a bond. It's still a connection. She still taught your ass something, but she taught you to commit suicide. She taught you to attract people to bring homicide because you are recreating that pattern. You living in that energy. You tap into that frequencies, thus experiencing the negative side of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You see what I'm saying? It's still connecting one way or another. You think you saying there's no connection, but it was. You said she didn't teach you, but she did. The things we didn't want to be taught, we didn't want to see, we wanted power, but she taught you pain. I gotta go. Love y'all. Talk to you later.